Right now, somewhere in America, there's a barn, dusty, forgotten. And inside, a rusted machine worth more than a new car. We're talking garden tractors so rare that collectors will pay 5 figures just for the frame. These aren't your neighbor's riding mowers. These are legends, engineering marvels, holy grails buried under decades of hay bales and oil stains. Some were too advanced for their time, others too dangerous. Most got scrapped, but a few survived, hidden, waiting. This is the top 10 rarest garden tractors still hiding in barns today. Let's find some treasure. Imagine finding a machine in your grandfather's barn that was too advanced for 1959. That's the Bolens Ridematic 230, the garden tractor that shouldn't exist yet. While everyone else was grinding gears, Bolens dropped the Versamatic CVT transmission. 6 speeds, infinite control, 0 shifting. Pull one lever and glide from 0.5 to 6.75 miles per hour without stopping. This was decades ahead of its time. Then there's the snap hitch system. Swap from 38-inch mower deck to snowblower to plow in minutes. One lever, no tools, no hassle. And it looked gorgeous. Curved chrome hood like a 50s hot rod. 3-spoke metal wheel. Perforated vintage seat. Pure American style. Under the hood, Kohler K161 single-cylinder engine. 7 horsepower. 277 cubic centimeters. Air-cooled beast. The whole machine weighs 500 pounds of solid iron. Original price in 1959? $509. That's over $5,000 today. Here's why it's rare. These tractors work so hard on farms, they literally died doing their job. Most got scrapped decades ago. Survival rate? Brutally low. But every now and then, someone opens a barn door in Ohio or Wisconsin and finds one buried under dust. Original Kohler engine. Chrome intact, all factory parts. The Vintage Garden Tractor Club calls it finding gold. Collectors will pay 10 grand or more for a clean survivor. South Bend, Indiana, 1958. A 2-car garage becomes the birthplace of a legend. Meet the Wheelhorse RJ58, the tractor that changed everything. This is the machine that invented the unidrive transmission. Elmer Pond didn't just build a gearbox. He cast the transmission and differential into one single bulletproof housing. 3 forward gears, 1 reverse. So tough it became the gold standard for decades. But here's what makes collectors obsessed. The RJ58 was the first wheel horse to hit mass production. Before this, everything was hand-built in Pond's garage. This tractor is the grandfather of every riding mower you see today. The specs: Kohler K91 engine, 4 horsepower, or the Clinton motor at 3.6. Belt-driven, manual steering, only 300 pounds, 32 inches wide, iconic round hood painted in legendary Wheelhorse red. Now the reality check: 20,000 were built. Most are gone. Farmers worked these machines into the ground. They ripped off fenders for snow plowing, cut hoods to fit bigger engines, scrapped them for parts. Finding one with original paint, intact fenders, and the correct Kohler engine? Like finding a needle in a haystack buried in another haystack. Wheelhorse fanatics call a barn find RJ58 the Holy Grail. Even rusty survivors fetch serious money. Fully restored with factory parts, thousands at auction. Dowagiac, Michigan, 1964. A company builds a machine so advanced it has features with no purpose yet. This is the Demco Amigo 117-0, the ghost tractor. Here's what makes it insane. Independent rear-turning brakes. Each rear wheel has its own drum brake. Step on the left pedal, lock the left wheel, and this thing spins on a dime like a full-size farm tractor. Nobody put that on a lawn tractor in 1964. Nobody. Then there's the mystery. Every single Amigo 1170 rolled off the line with a rear PTO shaft already installed. The weird part, Demco hadn't invented any attachments that used it yet. They built it for a future that never came. The specs: Kohler K181 engine, 8 horsepower, heavy custom gearbox, 36-inch belly mower, built like a tank. Engineers said it weighed a literal ton because everything was cast thick metal. Now the tragedy. The company originally called it Yard Boy. Competitors sued over the name. They changed it to Amigo, Spanish for friend. Then AMF bought Demco and killed the whole line overnight. Production window? Brutally short. The problem? These machines were indestructible, but when something broke, replacement parts vanished with the company. Farmers just shoved them into the back of barns and forgot about them. Most survivors hide in old Michigan farmsteads. Finding one with original red and white paint or the square hood intact? A genuine miracle. Redwood City, California, mid-50s. A helicopter engineer decides to build a lawnmower. The result? The weirdest machine ever sold at Sears. Meet the Sears Craftsman yard hand, designed by Stanley Hiller Jr., a literal aerospace pioneer. This man built helicopters for the military. Then he looked at lawn tractors and said, "These are too heavy," and built one out of aircraft aluminum. The frame is a single cast magnesium aluminum alloy block, the same stuff they use on airplane fuselages. It weighs almost nothing, but it's indestructible. Now the crazy part, there's no floor, no operator platform, just a flat aluminum slab with a slot cut down the middle exposing the drive chain. You sit on a tiny bicycle saddle at the back. Your feet rest on the front axle or just dangle in the air. It's half scooter, half tractor, all insanity. The specs: power products, 2-stroke engine, 1.5 to 2 horsepower, belt and chain drive, 1 forward speed, no reverse on early models, 3-gang reel mower dragging behind, original Hiller red or Sears exclusive blue and yellow paint. Production ran 1954 to 1956. Then Hiller went back to military contracts and killed the whole garden line. The aluminum casting was too expensive. Sales were microscopic. Here's the killer. If the magneto dies or the aluminum frame cracks, you're done. 0 replacement parts exist anywhere on Earth. It becomes an expensive paperweight. Sometimes a machine is so dangerous its own engineer refuses to be photographed with it. Welcome to the David Bradley Tri-Track, the 3-wheeler that shouldn't exist. Sears wanted to compete with International Harvester's Farmall Cub. David Bradley built this. 2 wheels up front, 1 drive wheel in back right under your seat, completely backwards from every other 3-wheeler ever made. The problem? It flips, hit a hill pulling a plow, and you're going over. The weight distribution is catastrophic. One lead engineer refused to stand next to it for promotional photos because he knew it was a death trap. The specs: Wisconsin AEN engine, 6 to 7 horsepower, sliding spur gear transmission, top speed 4.5 miles per hour. Weight: 894 pounds on a 6-horse engine with 1 rear wheel. Sears knew they had a problem. Only 4,000 units built over 4 years. Then they quietly bought most back and scrapped them. Silent recall, no announcement. The survivors? Farmers used them once, realized they were useless, and shoved them into barn corners under tarps. Too heavy, too weak, always stuck. But the design is so bizarre, it's beautiful now. Red body, green wheels, tin cowling over the rear wheel, spring cushion seat. Finding a barn-find tri-track with original tin intact is like finding a unicorn that tried to kill someone. Indiana, mid-50s. Standard Manufacturing builds a 3-wheeler so small, it looks like a toy. Meet the Banttom Model 5000, the orange ghost. This machine has a secret killer, the ball lock clutch, a proprietary system that shifts the drive shaft to tighten or loosen the belt. Simple concept, except it requires manual oil drops into the pulley before every single use. Nobody did that. The clutch burned, the tractor died, straight into the barn. The specs: Briggs & Stratton engine, 5 horsepower, 4-speed gearbox, 1 reverse, neutral, low, high, 3 wheels, 1 small front, 2 big rear drivers, Hugger orange paint, round hood, cast aluminum steering wheel. Here's the tragedy. The aluminum wheel cracks easily. The gas tank rusts through. The body corrodes from damp barn floors. These tractors are so small they got shoved into the wettest, darkest corners and forgotten. Worse, zero replacement parts exist. Collectors who find one join secret groups and hire machinists to hand fabricate wheels and gas tanks from scratch. But there's a legend. An engineer left standard manufacturing and started Wildcat just to build a modified copy of this exact tractor. That's how good the design was. Production window? Brutally short. Most survivors rotted away in hidden barn corners. Finding one with intact bodywork is the holy grail. Restored Bantoms are showstoppers at vintage shows. South Bend, 1955. Elmer Pond walks into a Ford junkyard and buys transmission parts. Then he builds a garden tractor using actual car components. This is the Rideway Senior, the Frankenstein monster. Wisconsin AENL engine. 8.3 horsepower, massive for 1955. But here's the wild part. 3-speed Ford car transmission, Rockford automotive clutch, shortened Ford Model A rear axle, Ross steering gear, drum brakes from a Ford. Pond hand-built these. Cut Ford axles with a torch, welded frames, bolted industrial engines to car parts. No two Seniors are identical. Production? A few hundred at most. Then Wheelhorse switched to cheaper models and killed the line. The problem? These are huge. 8x16 rear tires, over 800 pounds. When small farming collapsed, owners stripped them for parts. That Wisconsin engine? Perfect for projects. That Ford axle? Gold for hot rods, survivors with original frame, steering wheel, and Ford drivetrain? Almost mythical. Worse, they hide in plain sight. Covered in barn dust, they look like regular farm tractors. People scrapping barns don't realize they're crushing a 5-figure collectible. The size fooled everyone. The Ford parts made them easy to cannibalize. Most got parted out decades ago. When one hits Mecum auctions, bidding wars erupt. Wheelhorse Collectors Club calls them conservation priority. College Park, Maryland, 1954. A military equipment engineer builds a garden tractor and names it after a German tank. Meet the Copar Panzer Model A, the Red Ghost. James A. Clark designed targeting systems and military hardware. Then he built this, Briggs & Stratton Model 23 engine, 8.5 horsepower, 376 cubic centimeters. Massive power in a compact frame. The insane part, shortened Chrysler 8 3/4-inch rear axle with automotive differential, independent rear wheel turning brakes. Step on one brake, and this thing spins on a dime like an actual tank. The name came from a 1953 company contest. Employees tested the prototype. Thick steel plates, heavy cast frame, ridiculous pulling power. Someone said it's like a Panzer, and it stuck. Production? 350 units hand-built before the factory moved in 1955. Global collectors confirm only 50 survivors today. Here's the killer. That Chrysler rear end is gold for hot rod builders. When people found abandoned Panzers in barns, they ripped out the axle for muscle cars. The big Briggs engine? Perfect for custom builds. Most got parted out. Worse, early Model A's were solid red. No yellow wheels like later versions. Barn hunters mistake them for homemade junk and walk past 5-figure collectibles. 50 confirmed survivors worldwide. Finding one intact with original Chrysler axle is lottery-level rare. Raven, Ohio, late 30s. Harold Pond builds one of America's first 4-wheel garden tractors. Then World War II happens. Most disappear forever. Meet the Speedex Model B, the living fossil. This machine predates everything on this list. While others are vintage, the Speedex is pre-war ancient. Briggs & Stratton Model Z engine, 6 horsepower, massive for the 30s. Shortened Ford Model A transmission and differential. Open mechanical steering with exposed chains and gears. No hood, no fenders, no bodywork. Just heavy U-channel steel with the engine sitting naked. Here's the tragedy. World War II scrap metal drives. The government needed metal for weapons. Citizens donated broken farm equipment. Most Speedex Model Bs got melted down for the war effort. Survival rate? Catastrophic. Survivors faced worse. Open steering exposed to barn moisture. Gears rusted solid. Chains froze. Animal waste corroded frames. Decades turned them into unrecognizable junk. Worse, they look homemade. No curves, no styling, just raw skeleton. Barn cleaners see worthless scrap when they're worth thousands. Finding one with original Briggs Model Z engine and cast iron carburetor intact, a genuine miracle. At major tractor shows, Speedex Model Bs get the most prestigious spots. They represent the dawn of modern garden tractors. Horicon, Wisconsin, 1963. The Green Giant finally enters the garden tractor game. Meet the John Deere 110 round fender, the tractor hiding in plain sight. First year production, exactly 1,000 units. Those 1963 models have details no other year got. Thicker fiberglass hood, no wiring holes in the dash, steel gas tank instead of plastic. Serial numbers 1001 through 2000. Kohler K161 engine, 7 horsepower in 1963, upgraded to K1818 horse in 1964. Peerless 3-speed transmission. Variable speed drive with a lever to adjust belt tension. Change speed without shifting. Here's the kicker. 1963 attachments were white, not yellow. White mower decks, white plows. They worked in dirt and rusted fast. Almost none survived. White attachments are rarer than the tractor. The variable speed drive killed these machines. Needed constant belt maintenance. Farmers didn't know. Belts slipped. They thought the transmission died. Shoved tractors into barn corners and forgot them for 50 years. The camouflage problem, John Deere green and yellow, is everywhere. People inherit old farms, see a rusty 110, think worthless old mower and scrap it. They don't know round fenders are worth 10 times more than square fender models. Finding a 1963 with original serial plate, white attachments, and steel gas tank? 5-figure barn find. So there you have it, 10 machines that collectors dream about finding. If you've got an old barn, a grandparent's farm, or access to rural property, go look. Check the dark corners. Pull back those tarps. That rusty hunk of metal covered in pigeon droppings could be worth 20 grand. And if you find one, don't scrap it. Don't part it out. Call a vintage tractor club first. You might be sitting on history. Drop a comment if you've ever found something crazy in a barn. Hit subscribe for more forgotten machines. Now get out there and start hunting.